Nothing says what a case tournament than actually an event that I got the chance to play in. And, you know, unfortunately, kind of scrubbing out being a bad player, you get the chance to kind of learn a little bit about the format, or you just lose the Eldritch Mirror match, and then you get mopped up by Mystic Mine. Yeah, that was the story of my weekend. I'm betting 30% of you guys have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 100K ladder here. So we did get the chance to play the Refined Gaming Case Tournament, the last big event that they had for Duels Pack of the Deep here. First, or basically Top Cut got a combination breakdown of a case, which was a very nice prize pool. If you guys are in the Toledo area, or, you know, just want to go play Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, if you're out here in the Midwest, I actually really do recommend their locals. They're not too bad of a drive for me, and I'll definitely go back for some more events. It was also a little bit later at night, which was really, really nice overall. So, Top Cut breakdown for this event, we had 3 Sword Souls. Now, Sword Soul has been, you know, one of your 3 big leading decks in this format. You can't say that you're a stranger to this format if you're like, oh my god, Sword Soul. Like, let's be honest here, like, the whole 10-yi aspect. My round 1 loss was to my friend that rode with me because, you know, when you open up full 10-yi package, plus the special summon for the Ecclesia, plus the Tai with the long Yun extension package in hand, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do against that. Like, I'm sorry to tell you that. Like, that's just infinitely more Yu-Gi-Oh! For me. And that's kind of like what you get with the Sword Soul package, man. Like, every Sword Soul player I play against just opens up the absolute nuts. Like, and it's just absolutely amazing to me that, like, your puny field just gets ripped apart so easily by the powerhouse that is this deck. The rest of Top Cut was a lot of one-ups here. Now, we had one ABC Thuri on deck here, and when we get the chance to kind of talk about Top Cut here, you'll get the chance to see, like, how straightforward and cool this deck actually looks. Being able to maximize and play a lot more field spells to set up and laugh at your opponent is actually a very nice thing. I mean, I also think that the deck also has a weakness of not seeing Union Carrier and you just kind of cry, but we're neither here nor there. We also had one Sky Striker deck in Top Cut as well, which, okay. Sky Striker doing well. Alright. We also had one Eldritch branded deck, which was my friend. Yeah, actually, we were talking about ratios versus each other. I ended up playing Anti-Scam Fragrance versus not playing Skill Drain, and Skill Drain ended up doing better for him. Anti-Spell didn't matter to me versus Skill Drain, but alright. We also had Branded Dogmatica on the Top Cut, which is kind of interesting. And then we also had a Mystic Mine player. Now, I don't have the Mystic Mine list for this breakdown, but I will tell you from when I played against it, it wasn't anything too special. It was pretty run-of-the-mill in terms of things. Cauldron, Dark Bribes, there were evenlies in the deck. I think we last saw that good out of the Jeff Leonard special here, where you just kind of equalize and punish the opponent. But, you know, I had a judgment, they had double Dark Bribe, and, you know, the Draco back didn't resolve, so it'd be like that. Let's pass it on over for top deck list. Alright, top 8 for this event. Our first list is going to be the ABC as easy as 1, 2, 3. We're on each of the pieces at 2 of, which is fine. Of course, the Rite of Armesia package. Who doesn't love the fact that setting up an essential Omni Negate package so you can laugh at your opponent and go, nope, you don't get to do anything. Like, that's the ingenious of this. Like, it's so good. Alright, I see that we also have board breakers. We are also playing 7 frickin' field spells in here. Alright, your set rotation should be getting absolute value town out of this deck, which is pretty interesting at the end of the day. And then, of course, standard side deck board breakers and the Underworld Goddess to kind of contact out with. If something comes up that is deemed a problem with this deck, I think it's like the cool part, like Underworld Goddess, if they make like a Link 6, you just get the ability to roll this out for free and your opponent's just like, oh, you know, yay, game mechanics. I contact you out now. So, good stuff. You love to see it. Next up here for our Sword Soul variants, we are playing Triple Droll and Lockbird. Now, one interesting thing out of this weekend for this particular event was Droll was a really big thing. I don't know if it's a localized meta thing, but they really love Droll and Lockbird here, like all across the board. We are playing the one Synthana. We are playing the triple Heavenly Dragon cycle here. And I also see that we are playing Psychic End Punisher here. I've kind of noticed that Sword Soul has been giving a little bit more of an option tree to the Psychic End Punisher. Quite honestly, like, this card is busted. Alright, like, literally, free protection, laugh at your opponent, like, and you just get bigger. Like, you can be losing a game and make this card, and you can run it back because of that opportunity to establish this card. And when you get Equalizer boss monsters like that in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, a lot of powerful things can go wrong for the opponent. Outside of that, there's nothing else too crazily different for this variant. Next up here is our Sky Striker list. Now, the Sky Striker list is, of course, playing the Mystic Mine. I know, Mystic Mine make my head no fun. Alright, a lot of players will be really disappointed by this, but that's fine. I also see here that, yes, we are playing the Change of Heart as well in here. I do know that this is an unsearchable one-of. I think a lot of players will be kind of disappointed in the grand scheme of seeing that, but I mean, hey man, just getting to the ability to take something, make a Zeke roll off with it. We have plenty of board breakers in here. Between like the Regekis and this, like, this is all pure gas right here. Like, you'll be able to tear through fields and do fine. And yes, we are playing the Desires as well. Don't underestimate Desires in this deck. Honestly, Desires getting you the ability to kind of get some of the dead weight out of the deck. I mean, as long as you pulled for your engage already, this shouldn't hurt you too much. Even if you lose your engage, like, it's not that bad. Next up here is our next Sword Soul list. Now, your first big differences here are, yes, we are playing the Double Draw Unlockber. I did tell you that all of these Sword Soul players for this event were absolutely cuckoo's crazy for wanting to play Draw Unlockber. Like, it's so amazing to me. We had double Effect Veiler as well. And then, of course, back to the Heavenly Dragon cycle, which is fine. Four full board breakers in here as well. This build also wanted to play Effect Veilers, which is fine. All right, there's nothing wrong with wanting to play Veiler in this particular list. I also see down here that we do have Psychic End Punisher showing back up as well. One other interesting thing for this list is the actual inclusion of Rivalry of Warlords. Now, obviously, TC Boo and some of the other floodgates can be a lot more punishing to this deck, but I mean, if you just go down an entire worm turn here, you're basically good to go. I mean, like, cool, this is our only warrior. Everything else in here, besides, you know, Psychic End Punisher, meets the requirements for worm, so you're good to go. Next up here is my friend's branded Good Stuff Eldritch deck. We are actually maining the Necro Banshee. From some of the games I watched from this, especially against his Salad matchup, just activating the Zombie World was just a free auto win. Like, his opponents just could not recover out of this. Like, I was actually very, very intrigued just watching this fully resolve, and he's just like, oh, nobody can do anything. Obviously, Lord of the Sky Prisons for protection, and then, of course, you know, all the good stuff, floodgates that you kind of pack into this. He did get a lot of value out of the dimensional barriers also in the main deck from what I see. If you really do need like more access to dimensional barriers, you can board in your trap tricks here, and you'll be able to pressure the opponent a lot easier. Like, it's actually very interesting to see like the power that this card gives you. Also, Lava Golem is busted in this deck, 100%. Your opponent sets up two big monsters, you just go ahead and tribute over them, and your opponent's just like, oh, what do I do about that? Nothing. Next up was our Dogmatica Invoked list. So basically, we're only playing one Fallen of Albaz. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I feel like one Albaz is just asking for trouble. I feel like in a build like this, I'd want to dedicate towards two of it. But we're not even playing, like, just, we're on a very small package, so I guess it's fine at that point. I also see we are playing the one Albalenitus here, so I guess if you do end up drawing the one Fallen of Albaz or something, you do get a free contact fusion off of everything, which is quite interesting. But in terms of, like, the rest of the deck build here, we are also getting away with playing Fusion Destiny, which is quite interesting in and in itself as well. Outside of that, you still have the standard invoked shenanigans. You can tell that, like, the way that this deck was built, I almost feel like it was a little bit sackier to get to play, but I think that's fine. A little bit of sackiness wins free games here. And the last list we have for you guys here is another interesting Sword Soul list. And we're on Triple Heavenly Dragon cycle, and this is what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. You see the fact that all three builds had Droll and Lockbird in it, alright? I hope you didn't think I was kidding about that. All three builds also had Synthana. This build also has chalices down here. I haven't seen a lot of chalice, even though like it's one of the better option trees for this deck. It's just, I feel like players just kind of avoid this card, which is kind of interesting at the end of the day. And then, of course, these should be Monk of the 10 Ys, not Berserker of the 10 Ys. I messed that up in terms of deck building earlier, so it's a very simple correction, so don't worry about that. So what do you guys think about all of this info? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button. See you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.